From a head-on collision in Mexico that had these train operators running for safety, and a hero in India who saved a little boy after he fell onto the tracks, to a tram in Russia that decided to keep driving without brakes, and much more. Here are 6 train moments you wouldn't believe if not filmed. Perm is a large city in eastern Russia, located on the banks of the Kama River. It's home to about 2.5 million people who rely on the public tram system to get around. But if you were riding one of the trains on June 6th of 2012, you may have been asked to get off. The driver of tram route number 8 noticed something wrong with the brakes. They discovered the problem at one of the stops, but couldn't fix it. Instead of cutting the engine and dragging the train, they kept going, without brakes, to a different stop. As you can imagine, that was a bad idea. The carnage starts at the top of the hill when the runaway tram crashes into the back of a bus. The bus veers left and nearly crashes into a church. Meanwhile, the tram keeps going. Nobody knows it's speeding down the hill without brakes. Cars, people, and buses cross the intersection, clueless as to how much danger they're in. A silver SUV comes within inches of the tram. The car behind them isn't so lucky. It smacks the side and nearly does a complete 360. The drivers who crashed were treated for various injuries. Thankfully, none were life-threatening. At least the city was smart enough to disembark the tram passengers when they noticed the problem. It's too bad they were dumb enough to let the tram drive without brakes. Now, most people slow down when they see flashing lights at a railroad crossing. It's the universal sign that a train is coming and you need to stop. Other people see those lights and think, challenge accepted. And we're not sure where this close call took place. All we know is this driver was either clueless or had nerves of steel. Just as the train enters the intersection, a red car zips through in the blink of an eye. Had they slowed down even a hair, they would have been T-boned. From the reverse angle, you can see the lights flashing. The car comes around the bend and never slows down. It looks like they may have seen the train at the last second as they veer right while going through the intersection. In the driver's defense, it doesn't look like they have the best view of the train while coming around the bend. Still, they should have seen the flashing light and stopped. Hopefully, this extremely close call taught them a valuable lesson. The West Coast Express is a commuter rail in British Columbia, Canada. It connects downtown Vancouver with Mission City, making 6 stops along the way. The trains run on a strict schedule. Westbound trains to Vancouver only run in the mornings. Eastbound trains to Mission City only run in the late afternoon. On September 16th of 2008, the Vancouver-bound train was heading through the city of Maple Ridge. Up ahead, a construction crew was working near the tracks. The foreman assured our engineer that the tracks were clear. Maybe he should have double-checked. The harsh, screeching sound you heard was the engineer pulling the brakes. Notice how it takes 20 seconds for the train to come to a complete stop. It shows how much room a speeding train needs to slow down. What's mind-boggling is why this construction crew thought 7:40 a.m. was an appropriate time to cross the tracks. According to the West Coast Express website, there's about a 7-hour gap between the last westbound train and the first eastbound train. It seems like they could have planned this thing much better. Luckily, the train only clipped part of the loader. It's unclear how much, if any, damage it suffered. We can confirm that plenty of people were late to work that day. Zacatecas, Mexico is a large city in the middle of the country. It was founded in 1546 after miners discovered one of the world's richest silver veins. There was also plenty of gold. Today, Zacatecas accounts for 21% of Mexico's gold production and over 50% of its silver. Those miners rely on trains to carry their precious rocks away from the dig site. On October 14th of 2018, 2 of those trains wound up on the same track. Unfortunately, they were heading right for each other. Footage from inside the moving train shows us what was happening inside the cab. All 4 men knew they'd never stop in time. 3 of them bailed, while 1 remained in the control room. He braced for impact, knowing it wasn't going to be fun. Papers go flying, and our engineer gets tossed around a bit, but it looks like he was okay. The same can't be said for the train. Several cars came off the tracks. You can see where parts of the train became twisted clumps of metal. Now, it's unclear which train was at fault. You can see where the track splits so the trains can avoid each other. One was too late, or the other was too early. We're thinking this was a classic and expensive case of miscommunication. West Java, Indonesia is truly an incredible place. Here you'll find everything from breathtaking waterfalls to massive volcanoes. It's also the location of this next video, where a mother and her 2 children found themselves stuck on the train tracks. Back on December 9th of 2021, our family was driving along when they came upon a railroad crossing. The mother pulls onto the tracks with her daughter riding in the back. It's hard to tell in the video, but there is also a little boy riding between them. Suddenly, their bike gets stuck in the loose soil and is unable to get over the crossing. At this point, pure panic sets in. The boy sees the train coming and decides to take off running. Meanwhile, the mother and daughter try everything they can to pull the bike off the tracks, but it's no use. They jump away at the last second and watch the train smack the bike into the brush. Police arrived to find a shaken mother and scared children. Thankfully, they were all okay and didn't get in trouble. Officials agree, based on the footage, that it was an accident and are using this to find ways to make the crossing safer in the future. The Vangani railway station is one of 62 stops on the central line of the Mumbai Suburban Railway. It's about 55 miles outside of the city and connects people from the Thane district to the main railway line. On April 20th of 2021, a mother and her son were walking through the station when tragedy struck. The boy got too close to the edge and fell onto the train tracks. Thankfully, a rail worker witnessed the whole thing and sprung into action. As they say, not all heroes wear capes. A mother tries desperately to save her child from an oncoming train. That's when a worker named Meyer Schelk sprints down the tracks and pushes the boy onto the platform. He climbs out himself moments before the train arrives. Let's rewind a bit to see how we got here. Look how close the mother and son are walking to the tracks. He steps off and falls down. She jumps back and then reaches for her child, trying to pull him out. Now you might be asking yourself, why didn't she jump down there? Or why were they walking so close to the tracks in the first place? Well, according to reports, the mother was visually impaired. She couldn't see where they were walking or find the boy once he fell. For his heroism, Meyer was awarded 50,000 rupees, or about $600. Meyer appreciated the reward, but he would have done it again for free. If you enjoyed this video and want to see another just like it, be sure to click the link on screen now. With that, thanks for watching, and be sure to tune in next time.